I want to tell you about one of my heroes, Abraham Sharp. He's known as an astronomer and a mathematician. I love him as a creator of polyhedra. I brought a polyhedron here that I call the Sharpohedron. He didn't call it that. He also invented a way to slice polyhedra out of cubes, and I'll give you a quick demo of that. So this is him. He lived mid-1600s to mid-1700s. In the history books, he's most known as an astronomer, a scientific instrument maker. He's also kind of a footnote in the math literature for calculating pi to 70 digits around 1700, was the world record at the time. As I said, I like him for his polyhedra, and I really think of him as an artist. So this is just a quick, brief introduction to him. I'll give you a link to a paper at the end that you can look at for more details. He was an assistant to John Flamsteed, the first British royal astronomer. He made instruments that people described as super accurate and wonderful. In the math literature, he came shortly after Newton had sort of understood how derivatives and Taylor series work, and so he knew, as other people did, that you can take an arctangent series and pick a number that you can use just addition, subtraction, multiplication, and division to get an exact calculation of pi to as many digits as you want. This is a two-page thing he published that shows that calculation using an arctangent series to 70 digits. Or he gave a couple more, but 70 are correct. The last two, there's some little bits of error. If you could read that very bottom line on the right, it says 3.14159 after adding up all those numbers. He added them up twice, two different ways to make sure he was right. But as I said, what I love is his book. He wrote a book about polyhedra. He describes 12 new polyhedra that he thought were beautiful, aesthetic. He invented them, he drew them, he calculated them, told you how to make them, and he physically made them out of wood. So this is one of his pictures, figure 1 of his book. There are 3 figures. I'm sure you recognize at the top right a dodecahedron, icosahedron, rhombic tricontohedron. There's a snub cube in there. As you go down to the bottom, there's new polyhedra that he invented. Somewhere in the middle left of that page is this one I call the Sharpohedron. He did all these calculations to 20 digits of accuracy. He loved calculations. He just spent time doing this far more than anyone would ever need. He physically made them. There are descriptions in the literature, biographies of him, how he made these super accurate models, that they were beautiful. I found historical records of museum collections that had some. I've searched everywhere, contacted curators and museums all over Britain, trying to find, do any survive? And 3 at least survive. This is at the Bradford Museums. These, unfortunately, are ordinary polyhedra. Rhombicuboccahedron, icosahedron, snub cube. They're not any of the 12 that he invented, which I wish I could find. I've reproduced his methods. You can take a block of wood and slice. If you're a woodworker, it's relatively easy to work in this way. There's a snub cube. That one is a Sharpohedron. Briefly, I'll tell you that it has rhombic faces and kites. He writes all about it with 20 digits of accuracy as to what he liked about it. You can circumscribe it around a sphere. The diagonal of a rhombus is the same length as the diagonal of this kite. There's a lot to how it works. If you want to make one, start with a cube. Draw these lines that go from a vertex to an edge midpoint. They sort of outline these triangular blocks in the corners. You cut off 12 of those, let them fall to the floor. What's left in the middle is the Sharpohedron. You can make it out of paper. Here's a net. But the more interesting way to make one is to start there at the bottom left with a truncated tetrahedron, the simplest Archimedean solid, and build a pyramid on every face. And there's a natural height to the pyramids where adjacent isosceles triangles merge into a kite or a rhombus. So build the pyramids to those height, and you'll get the Sharpohedron. There's a lot about it that I could say, but you should just read the paper. This is a posthumous engraving of him done 2 years after his death. You can see in the bottom right, there's that little panel there. It has the Sharpohedron on it, so I'm guessing he liked it. I want to end by very briefly showing you the general method of how you take a block of something, a cube, draw lines on the outside, cut along those lines, let everything fall out, and what's in the middle is the shape that you want. Here's the page where he describes how to make a dodecahedron. This is just one of the warm-ups to his interesting polyhedra. There's a picture there of a cube with lines on it. I'm going to switch. Oh, wait, before I switch, I should leave you with that if you want the paper. Okay, look at that for a second, and then switch. So this is a cube that I've drawn some lines on. This is roughly a 32-degree angle if you want to make this yourself. Room service steak knife. And this makes kind of a bad noise, so don't listen to the squeakiness. Oh. Safety napkin to not damage equipment. Okay, so 12 faces. I have to make 12 cuts. 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm giving up my $1 to do this in your last minute. My 5, 6, 7, 8. I need another side. Let's see. Quick. Here we go. That was 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Not 20 digits of accuracy. Thank you.